Good morning, and thanks for joining me. Giacomo Fasano here, author of Revolutionary Power Cycles, available currently on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Xlibris.com. Purpose of my session today is to give you an overview on the human sweat system and how I feel that history is going to allow me to rewrite history with it. Because traditionally, the sweat system, I've got some little post-it notes or 8.5 by 11 notes to help me here. Traditionally, the human sweat system, we can read, was the primary tool, according to science, was to cool down when hot. I repeat, cool down when hot. Although there's some recognition that it removes toxins, that was it. There's nothing past that. Its primary purpose, according to science, is to cool the body down when hot. That also does that as well when you're out and you're hot and sweat, it cools you down. Not any primary vital function to cooling down, really. So I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been developed past that till this point in time. Okay, so in my theory is it's a vital system, crucial, because it allows for the maintenance of all your other systems. Circulatory, respiratory, immune, all of them, by getting rid of the bad substances that will harm those systems over time. Some of the biggest aspects of sweat are not only its contents, but its fully integrated layout in our body. Some key points here are that there's known toxins in the world. Arsenic, lead, mercury, fats in blood, triglycerides, although not a toxin, something that can cause heart disease with buildup. You got sodium, sugars, you got them all in different measurements in your sweat. Milligram is the main one. Sodium, lead, nickel are all milligram. Microgram, which is currently in the past, when they were able to test sweat 20 years ago, microgram and nanogram were not testable. So some of the things like mercury, triglycerides that are definitely microgram contents currently weren't testable, but now these days it should be, and that will be coming up probably in the near future. And when that does, I believe my book will even take off even more, because you're going to have a multiplier times a lot of substances that over your lifetime is going to mean clearly a better picture. Now, my whole book was started based on my running and sweating. I was running 8 years, looked in the mirror and said, something's going on here. This is not right. I was 46 and was getting younger looking, cleaner looking, feeling better from just running and sweating. Primarily, I mean, you'll learn that I have a yoga and stretching guide and do some basic weightlifting, but my core workout is the 68-minute walk-run session. That is the power cycles. That is the power cycle. I truly believe we were built to run, built to sweat, and built to self-heal. I think we're sitting on lifespans that upward of 150 years of age, maybe even 200. If we treat our bodies transparent and water-based like they are. Currently, 9 out of 10 people do not run and sweat hard, meaning over an hour, 5 miles. 9 out of 10 people are currently dying of heart disease and cancer. Could be a correlation right there. I believe so. Let's talk about those known toxins again. Those known toxins are factually hanging out in 3 main areas. In your blood, the triglycerides and fats, the fats in blood. You've got metals in your blood, nickel, your cells, and the area around your cells. Those are where the toxins hang out. Well, that makes sense too, right? And all your organs are made up of cells, so you have your top 3 carriers of water in your body. Actually, I'll give you the top. We'll go with the top 8. That's relevant as well. Top 8 carriers of water in the body. Cells, number 1. They make up your whole body. The area around your cells, number 2. The blood, number 3. And then you go brain, lungs, heart, liver, kidneys, organs. Those are all organs. The first 3, the cells, the area around the cells, and the blood, they're not organs. But obviously, all your organs are made up of cells. So really, your body being made up all of water, the cells make up the largest carrier of water. The area around it, primarily, we're water, because everything's made up of cells. So naturally, if your cells make everything in your body and they're the largest carrier of water, we're primarily water, right? So how is that relevant? Well, the toxins are factually attacking are in that water, around the cells, in the blood, and they're there and they're going to accumulate, and they're factually causing an illness when they accumulate. There's different elements and particles that lead to different ailments. And this is why I think the power cycle strategy and the extraction methodology I'm going to present to you today is the key to preventing diabetes, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, because each component, when accumulated, does in fact lead to that. Sodium leads to high blood pressure when there's too much in the body. Sugars lead to diabetes. Lead and nickel are known carcinogens. We can assume they form cancer. Triglycerides are the fats in blood. They stack up. They clog little arteries in your heart. They can cause a heart attack. They contribute to heart disease. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but they're definitely a main core. All of those can come out in a liter of sweat from your heart energy. And the heart energy is very, very important here. You can't just sit in the sauna. You can sweat in the sauna. You can get a little bit of toxins out, but there's no thrust. There's no circulation going. Your heart's not pounding, and your circulation's not moving. And that's going to cause the riptide effect, as I call it, the power of moving water, which is the most powerful power in the world. Water is known to be the most powerful substance in the world. The oceans, the waves, you can't stop water. Water carries anything with it when it's moving, including little tiny fine sand objects like in the ocean or in your body. That's going to be now lead and mercury, these little nanogram and microgram specks, tiny specks under a microscope. They're going to get carried with water, and that's what the sweat system does. And the biggest point is that the top three carriers of water, the cells, the area around the cells, and the blood, are where the water is coming from with your sweat. So guess what? When you're sweating, you're pulling water from those sources. And along with it, you got it, those harmful substances that we talked about, lead, nickel, triglycerides, mercury, arsenic, whatever it is. And not only that, if you look at the top 8 carriers of water, when you get past the cells, the area around the cells and the blood, the brain is next. That's the 4th largest carrier of water in your body. You're going to get lead out of your brain as well, not only from the cells that are carrying the water in your brain, but just the fact that it's a large carrier of water. And the key to my program and why 68 minutes at minimum is important to run and walk. Okay, it's important because the sweat levels and the amount of circulation really don't get good until you're after your 4th or 5th mile or your 50th and 60th minute. The process has been working a while, and then you can feel confident that you're draining these metals out of your organs, your deep organs. As a matter of fact, when I was running, even 3 or 4 years ago, before I even decided to write the book, I would have some sessions in which I would probably running 6 or 7 miles. And towards the end, in the 90th minute, I just said to myself, this is deep. This is coming from my organs. I can feel it. And I felt like it was coming from my liver. Maybe I was drinking a couple of drinks. I knew this water wasn't just coming from the blood, or it was coming deep. In fact, that is the case, okay? You're going to go out and you're going to sweat 1 liter, which is the targeted derivative of the Power Cycle program, okay? High calorie burn, high sweat total, and high endorphin release, as well as meditation and prayer. And in doing so, you're taking 2% of your body water, which is 42 liters divided by 1 liter, 2% of your body water in one session. Now, I don't drink water while I'm doing this, but I certainly can, but I don't, because we can sweat up to 2% of our body weight, which for me is a liter and a half, 48 ounces. I don't really come close to that unless I'm going 12 miles, 11 miles. It's not my normal workout. I like to do this like a health pill, 68 minutes, 5 times a week, 6 times a week, and that's it. It's incredible what it does. You're going to be, again, the human sweat system. It's not just meant to cool you down. Clearly, being fully integrated with the top 3 carriers of water in your body, okay, the cells, the area around inside the blood, if it's fully integrated with them, and you got 2 to 4 million sweat glands integrated in your body, spread out evenly, 640 open pores per square inch of your body. So every square inch of your skin has 640 open pores, or as I like to call them, hoses, because that's what they are, they're spraying water. You have 90,000 open pores on the surface of your body, connected to 2 to 4 million sweat glands, connected to your cells, your blood, and the area around your cells. That starts to resonate a little bit. They're integrated with the top 3 carriers of water which is where the toxins hang out. And when you sweat and create this hard energy, you're able to create a riptide effect in which this water is going to circulate and pull with it physical objects that are, if you don't do this, we're just going to hang out in those areas and cause harm. So doesn't the 10,000 foot view kind of make sense at this point? I mean, isn't it all, like, I didn't make up the human sweat system. It was God's thing. And if you're not a believer in God, that's fine. Evolution, well, evolution was pretty darn smart, I would say, in that it made us full of water and water based, and with these sweat glands and open pores, in which that, these poisons and toxins are just going to come out and have no choice in the matter. Now, I'm going to be 48 in July. I do believe that I'm just going to continue to get younger looking and younger as I continue to sweat 4 to 6 liters a week through running. Not only does running carry with the sweat aspect, it also carries oxygen replacement, neurogenesis, which we'll talk about, the process in which you're breathing hard splits a cell in half. One part is a dead part that just dies, and the other one splits into 2 new cells from oxygen replacement. New brain cells from running. It's got all the advantages. It uses your entire body running. It exercises every component of your body because you're using every part of your body. And therefore, it does cure your entire body because it uses your entire body. And we're also going to get into spirituality, how it uplifts your spirituality and raises it right through your body, right to your number one part of your body, because it's exercising your spirit. When you run, you're going to use your will to go on, not to quit, will to succeed. Your will is something that's real. People have the will to win. They use their will. Everybody knows what their will is. I have a will. You can control your will. You can move forward hard. That's your will. Your will is adjacent, if not already the same as your spirit. They're clearly in the same family. Your will and your spirit, they're in there. So when you exercise and use your will to persevere with running and walking in a session, you're exercising your spirit. Trust me, you are. And when in the process of doing so, over years, you're just going to get more acclimated with your spirit. You're going to feel comfortable with it. You're working it. You're attuned with it. Okay, this is real. You see athletes after games, or during the game, they make an outstanding play, a goal. They look up in the sky. They thank God. They're feeling spiritual. They're running. They're using their spirit. They've got endorphins going. Endorphins open up the connection to God. We'll talk about that. Endorphins are one of the most powerful drugs available to man. They're within our own body, and they have to be released based on hard energy and physical pain. That's something you can get with running. We'll talk more about endorphins. Endorphins mean a morphine substance from within the body. That's how they defined endorphins. The last part, FIN, is cut from morphine. The first part, endo, is cut from endogenous, which means from within the body. Pretty remarkable that we have a morphine-like substance available within our bodies. All we have to do is tap into it, and running is clearly the best way to do it because it works your whole body and creates that pain evenly. Okay, so we're cruising along here. We've talked about the human sweat system. Why should you listen to me today? Well, main reason is the quality of your life and life itself. I'm looking to double your lifespan, but I'm also looking to allow you to be flexible like you're in your 30s and 20s and 40s when you're 180 or 90 and 110. This is the difference when you circulate your body water and refresh your cells of that water instead of keeping the toxins in there and allowing them to change composition over time. Your cells are begging for their purity. They want to maintain their purity. They're not, because you're not flushing out toxins in the water. It's simple as that. Aging is nothing more than our cells being changed by toxins. Okay, gray hairs, your hair and nails are forms of releasing toxins. When people don't sweat heavy, like a soccer player and myself, you're going to use your nails, urine, and hair and defecation as your primary tools of releasing toxins. Well, guess what? It's not enough, because this world we're surrounded by toxins. It's getting worse because of industrialization. There's lead, there's nickel, there's arsenic in the air. We don't even feel it. They're nanograms. They're coming in. They're getting buried into your cells. You can't do anything about it. Your cells change. You look different. It's all because of the toxins. You can flush them out. You can maintain your youth, maintain your young look. It's unbelievable. I am promising you people that the human sweat system is the key to longevity. And not only that, it's the key to youth. It opens up, the fountain of sweat opens up two other fountains, the fountain of youth and the fountain of holiness. And that's in my book as well. Let's talk about a subject that's kind of gets me a little bit. Hillary Clinton is running for president. She just recently pledged $2.5 billion towards a cure for Alzheimer's. $2.5 billion towards a cure for Alzheimer's. Whereas my book for $20 has not only the cause, but also the cure and prevention tool. For $20, that's 125 million to 1. 125 million to 1 that you're so off base, Hillary, and that you're just shooting something into the wind because you're running for president and you want to do the right thing and sound good. But all you have to do is support my book and look at how lead accumulation in the brain is causing all the brain ailments. And the World Health Organization on page 1 and the EPA, and I'm not going to, they state that lead is a cumulative toxin. It poses a serious risk to human health, and they state that it's depositing itself in the brain, liver, kidneys, and bones. Brain, liver, kidneys, and bones. Let me repeat that. I did. The bones, by the way, Jimmy Valvano and your cancer foundation, he died of bone cancer. I wrote you an email, never responded to me. I understand you want donations, but if you really want a cure, if factually lead is depositing itself in the bones, you might want to consider that to be a fact, a cause of bone cancer. The World Health Organization, what they've done here is they've said lead is very bad. There's no amount of lead considered safe in your body. I repeat, no amount of lead considered safe in your body. Meanwhile, it's in your sweat to the tune of 0.05 milligrams to 0.75. It can range up to 15 times greater, but the minimum is 0.05 milligrams. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is. It's like 15 to 25 times greater than any source coming in. Okay, and with your sweat, everything going out in your sweat is that much higher in concentration than anything coming in. Sodium, lead, nickel, mercury, whatever it is, it's coming out in 25 times greater concentration, and that's a huge point. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you got the World Health Organization stating a cause that lead is bad, it's got radioactive properties, it's a number 2 most toxic substance from the Agency of Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, which, by the way, they rank toxins based on toxicological reports of the deceased, autopsies, propensity to harm, and they rank them based on that. And lead is number 2, arsenic's number 1, and mercury is number 3. That's based on what how they've already hurt Americans, based on toxicological reports. Again, deceased. So lead is causing problems out there, or else it wouldn't be ranked the number 2 toxic substance. There's no other way of getting it out of the body other than our human sweat system. So I suggest people start to look at the 0.05 milligrams, which is just the minimum in a liter of sweat, 33 ounces of sweat, and say, hey, this must mean something. Because if you do it regularly, over just 10 years, you can extract 200 milligrams of lead like I have, and like a lot of athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo and LeBron James have from their 10 years of running. So lead accumulation has been causing aging and aging-related illnesses for a long time, and it's got to stop, and it's going to stop. Because I'm here to say that this human sweat system is no longer just to cool the body down. It's the core function to alleviate these toxins directly from those sources that they reside. And again, the cells, the area around the cells in the blood. That's where they are. And those are the top 3 carriers of water in the body. And that's where your sweat system is connected to, those sources. It's siphoning them out of there. It needs the motion, the riptide motion, which is your body moving and heart rate going. That's all it needs. And once you start sweating, the process is occurring. It's pulling like riptide those bad substances out of your body. Now, I don't care if you're a good mineral or bad. You're getting on the Powercycle roller coaster ride. I'm putting you on. You don't need put a little seatbelt. You can be magnesium, calcium, lead, nickel. You're all going on. I'm taking you all out of my body. Now, I realize some of those are good minerals, but guess what? It doesn't matter. The process is to get them all out, including the bad ones. And if you need to replenish magnesium, calcium, potassium, you do it. You eat bananas. You take a pill for magnesium. You take a pill for calcium. There's no problem with that. You're not going to take a pill for lead. You don't want any lead in your body, but you're going to get it out. And you're going to get the mercury out and the triglycerides out. Okay? And you're going to get the sodium out, and you're not going to really look to replenish those. You got me? Okay, great. My biggest point here is that why isn't our sweat system recognized as a vital system. It's like not talked about. It's completely shunned aside, pushed aside like a stepchild. It makes no sense whatsoever. It should be the number one system because it maintains all the systems, the circulatory, the respiratory, the immune, all of them. These particles, when they build up in your kidneys, your pancreas, your thyroid, any which one of them, that little element chart right there, that's got a lot of elements, and they're all coming in your body. It's not just lead and nickel and sodium. There's aluminum, there's barium, there's selenium. There's tons of them. You don't know which accumulation will affect an organ, but I'll guarantee you one thing: they will if you don't take them out. Okay. And also, let's talk about the athletes. Is there a reason why LeBron James and Cristiano Ronaldo look like $1 million to match their $1 million contracts? Well, yeah, it's because of their running metrics. It's because they run and sweat like the Powercycle. 4 to 7 miles a shot, 4 times a week minimum, 10 years, and look at them. Just like I'm not trying to be boasting, but clearly I feel good at 48. I don't look like I have toxins in me. I don't feel like it. I am getting stronger as I'm getting older. I'm running equally as hard as I did 8 years ago. It's because I'm recirculating the water in my body. I made up a ratio called the body water to sweat ratio. And what that is since we're made of 42 liters of water, how many times do you sweat out the equal of your body water? So I've sweat out 3,000 liters I've tracked in my last 11 years of running. Divided by my 42 liters of water in my body, my ratio is 68.4. I have sweat out my body water 68 times in my life. Probably more because I'm just tracking the last 10 years. That's a whole lot. And I recommend it to be at least once a year. Well, I'm sorry, one full cycle a year. You should at least be recirculating your 42 liters once a year, which is not even 1 liter a week. That's nothing. That's like doing one Powercycle session a week all year, and you get 52 liters out, which is the equal past your 42 liters. I think this is the key to maintaining vitality in your body, staying young, and I honestly think that this is getting scary with me. I honestly think I'm going to be 60 and look 30 still. I mean, it's only 10 years away from me. It's not that long, and I'm just going to continue to run harder and sweat harder and make myself get into better shape constantly. And I'm just curious where this is going to go. Time is my ally now, whereas everybody else who doesn't want to listen, time is not your ally. You're going to succumb to one of the 9 to 10 illnesses between cancer and heart disease. It's a fact. People die. A high percentage of them are all dying of those. The components in sweat, if you do it often, you get out the fragments, they're going to add up. Everything always adds up. A 50-year multiplier on 4 workouts a week is 10,000 liters, 10,000 workouts over 50 years. That's a whole lot times the contents of sweat. That's a whole lot of lead, a whole lot of triglycerides, a stick of butter, as I've done in my other prior release. It's a stick of butter how much you're going to take out in 50 years. If you don't think the equal of a stick of butter in your veins, in your heart, okay, it makes a difference, think again. So again, I said why listen to me? Because I'm looking to keep you young forever. I'm looking to turn your biological clock backwards. It's the power age, not the real age. The age based on the purity of your body. Again, I didn't make up the fact that we're 42 liters of water. We are. I didn't make up the fact that the cells make up our whole body and are under attack by toxins every day. That's known. What I also didn't make up is that the top 3 carriers of water are fully touching the sweat system, and they can carry it out with the riptide effect of water. Okay? I didn't make any of this up. Do we need a break here? Let's see. So the Powercycle, the gold zone is at the end of 68 minutes. That's when the culmination of your workout occurs. The high calorie burn, over 450 calories, which helps optimize your digestion and your metabolism. The high sweat total, which is the key to getting out all these bad toxins. And the endorphin release, which allows you to really feel comfortable and happy and soothes the mind. But the endorphins are incredible. They allow you to have a spiritual connection with your God. And you also meditate and pray for 30% of your Powercycle time. And at the end, when you're releasing the endorphins and you've been meditating and praying for part of your run, it simply is a spiritual experience. It's incredible. I feel very connected to God and feel His presence after these runs because life is great. Life is good. And He wants you to invoke bodily maintenance. He designed it. He wholeheartedly designed your body the way it is. And when you're doing this, you trust me. He's looking at you saying, I'm proud of him. And he's using what I designed to keep him young for a long time. And 9 out of 10 people not using their body the way it was built to be and used is not a good thing. And I promise you that the correlation between 9 out of 10 people dying of cancer and heart disease and the correlation of 9 out of 10 people not running and sweating it's no fluke. Those two are tied at the hip. Okay, and I'm going to get into how each component leads to a different illness. We could talk about it. Sodium is a known metal in your body. We need 2,000 milligrams a day. Milligrams, sorry. There's 2,000 almost in one meal. Everybody has too much sodium in the body. It's everywhere. Every meat. You can't just take 2,000. Everybody ends up having too much, which is why it's the largest component in sweat, because it's the more in your body, the more it's going to be in your sweat. A liter of sweat is not only all the bad your body looks to get rid of on a regular basis, it's a snapshot of your body and what's in your body. It's a total snapshot. You're taking and displacing a liter of 33 ounces, 2% of your water. Your snapshot, you're taking it on your body, you're taking a snapshot of it. It's what's in your body. All those things that are coming out are in your body. So why wouldn't you want to get a snapshot of what's in your body and most of it's causing harm and take it out? You do it regularly and drink water, you're going to be in a better position. Again, I keep saying my best evidence is myself and the athletes out there. If an athlete doesn't stop and retire at 40, a running athlete like a soccer player, they're going to continue to look good. A lot of them retire and they stop working out and running, and the metal accumulations just start to pile up on them. Such is the case with a lot of people, but you can't change the past. You can only influence the future, and the future's here. And no matter what your age is, no matter how old you are, you can freeze where you're at with aging and go backwards. Just start a walk-run session. It's not all running. Nobody can run for 68 minutes the whole time. Manute Bol or any Olympic runner can't do it. I can't do it. Nobody runs straight for 68 minutes. You do, but you can at a slower pace. And the point is, walking is part of running. Walking is something you need to do to run. It's a walk-run session for a reason. I run 6 miles in 68 minutes, but I still walk at least 10 minutes of that time in the beginning. And when I need a break, I stop for 2 seconds, I recoup, and I keep running. The definition of being in shape is not how fast you get tired. It's not that. It's factually how fast you recoup. Everybody gets tired from running. It's how fast you recoup. This is why, as you walk and run, if you're a beginner, you're going to walk more because you're going to be recouping more. So you're going to run, you're going to stop, be out of breath. It's going to take you 2 minutes to recoup. And instead of quitting, you're just going to run again, and until you're tired, and then you stop and you walk. Whereas that was the case in the beginning for me, but now, I walk in the beginning, I start running a mile, I'll have to stop for 3 seconds. It takes me 2 or 3 seconds of a walk to recoup, and I can start running again. But that's it, because I can recoup fast. That's what the definition of being in shape is. It's not how fast you get tired. Everybody's going to get tired. It's how fast you recoup. Okay? So remember, you start tomorrow, it's easy. You start walking and you run until you can't run no more, and you stop and you walk. Okay, so that's the process. Walk, run, and the gap of walking and recouping shrinks as you continue to do this. I really just do want to talk about the brain elements again, because it just bothers me that people don't get this part. If lead is going into the brain, and it's a dangerous element, which the government has recognized, it's depositing there. They haven't said what's the effect of it, which is shocking. It's depositing there and it's accumulating, but there's no effect. Well, I'm telling you what the effect is, and it matches exactly to the time frame of accumulations. These accumulations of these tiny nanograms and micrograms of lead take decades to accumulate. And for the most part, since it's random, because you're talking about circulation and tiny sand specks, there's no rhyme or reason where the lead it deposits in the brain. The brain's a very big organ. It's not just going to go here. All the lead's going here. Thank God. It's not doing that. It's coming in like a sandstorm on the boardwalk. You don't know where that sand's going to land. One guy, the hot dog guy, has a ton of sand after the storm on his front door. Right next door, the hamburger guy has none. That's because the wind and the water, it's random. Wherever it lands, it lands. Now, here's the interesting part. Your brain has, 12 or 14 different parts? Each part of the brain has a different specific core function. And brain cells are different from the other cells in your body because they have the thinking ability. So you have a part, the front lobe might be in charge of memory. Then you have another section that's in charge of cognitive thinking. Then you have a part that controls muscle movement, one emotions. They factually have different regions in the brain that control different parts of your thinking. This is a fact. And then you combine the fact that the random lead accumulation is exactly that, random, and you don't know where it's going to land. And for the most part, thankfully, most people, it lands evenly and distributes to the brain and not enough to affect the total thinking of a person. So most people don't get dementia and Alzheimer's. It's just the ones that have a bad luck with the accumulation, and somehow it all just, a majority might land in your front lobe, and that's the area that controls memory. And all of a sudden now you don't have any of your memory, and that's Alzheimer's, right? I'm sorry, dementia. It's because, and now, what if the accumulation takes more of a grunt on the front part that controls your cognitive thinking? Well, now you can't drive your car. You got Alzheimer's. Well, what if it affects the back part on the neurons? What affects your muscle movement? I'm not saying this one for sure, but it could be that you got ALS now. It depends where the accumulation occurs. It makes all the sense in the world. It's going in your brain. Factually, the health organization, it's factually depositing itself in the brain. The brain's a big organ, so where it accumulates is random, and wherever it does accumulate, it takes out the specific region and function. And that's how you have these different traits of these brain ailments, like Alzheimer's, dementia, one's memory, one's cognitive thinking. It's because whatever region has been affected by the lead accumulation is being taken out. Now, you recognize cancer as the permanent change to a cell. Its DNA and nucleus gets changed and it grows. That's cancer. Now, cancer that grows is cancer, but what about cancer that doesn't grow? Well, they consider that not to be harmful, but what about one that's inward? Affects the thinking ability of a brain cell. That's what's occurring here. You don't think lead stacked up against human brain cells over time, if it doesn't cause an outward tumor, that it can't affect complete changing of that brain cell's nucleus and biological function? Think. Of course it can. It's got radioactive properties. It's lead. A larger amount of lead in one area of your brain, the front lobe, that controls your memory, clearly over time, the radioactive elements of lead will change that brain cell's composition. And it will not be able to remember anything because it's got changed. I hope it makes sense. I really can't fathom that $2.5 billion is being spent by Hillary Clinton. Well, it's a political move, but yet I can't get anybody to read my book for $20 that states from the government that lead's accumulating in the brain, liver, and kidneys, and bones. That's where it is. And I came along and said, well, it's in your sweat. And you just need to sweat 5 times a week, a liter, and do it over a lifetime. And naturally, if something's an cumulative toxinant, like lead, the cumulative toxinant, applying a decumulating strategy will completely neutralize it, won't it? I mean, you're talking about taking it out greater than it comes in, or equal. So you're neutralizing the lead accumulation. I really, this has got to come out, guys. It's not just lead. If I was just talking to you just about lead, maybe I wouldn't even, lead enough is enough to make this book take off. But I'm not even talking just about lead. We're talking about sodium, triglycerides, mercury, arsenic, you name it. They're all in one. All in 1 liter of sweat. I mean, lead enough is enough to get my ideas going. But you got all of them. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. The overview is over. The human sweat system needs to be recognized as one of the vital systems out there. It's connected to the main carriers of water in our body, which are affected by toxins on a daily basis. You can sweep them out and keep your youth, keep your vitality. something that we already know we have in our body. We identify our youth. We know what the golden years is like, 20s and 30s. We're happy, we're young. What happens when we're 40 or 50? Why do we get old? Well, we just get old? No, your cells that make your whole body up, they change because of the toxins. You have a tool to neutralize that and make yourself stay young for a longer time. It's as simple as that. If you look at a running athlete, that's what they look like. I'm trying to use them as examples because they run and sweat heavy. If you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, you look at LeBron James, you look at Serena Williams, you look at whoever, Messi, soccer player Messi, they look toxin free. They look great. This is what this process does for you. Yeah, it's a little bit of pain to get dressed and get going and sweat and it's dirty, but so what? You do laundry, you get used to it. Your life is your most important asset. Life is the biggest gift itself. If I can live to 150 and be mobile, how much have I outdone the average person? I mean, life is everything. You can accomplish anything with your health and youth. Any goal, okay? Whereas money is great and wealth is important, but if you don't have the health to enjoy it, wealth means nothing. So you pass it on to your kids. If they don't pay attention to their health, they're not going to do anything with it either. And a lot of people don't have the value of the power cycle. Their life is not organized. Okay, so it's important, and it's important to pass your health habits to your kids, not just your money. James Gandolfini, I hate to talk about him, but Tony Soprano was 50 years old when he was eating lunch in Italy and pondering his life and his success and how he was Tony Soprano. And guess what happened? The triglycerides in his circulatory system just caused a heart attack. They were backed up. His lack of sweating and exertion caught up with him at 50 years old. That's it. I'm 48. I'm 2 years younger than him. That's it. It's a big difference between me and him because of the Power Cycle program. Get with the Power Cycle program. Get with your bodily function of sweating. It's not made by me. It was made by God. Okay, and it's pretty unique, pretty amazing, and it's scary to really think how much the backup of these toxins is causing. I'm not crazy. I think you guys, the science and government and everybody out there is crazy at this point because we're water based and we're not focusing on flushing out the water right on its face. That makes a lot of sense. Never mind the fact that it's dragging mercury and lead out of your body that is known to affect your cells. If you're made of cells, why wouldn't you want to take care of your cells by flushing out the water? It's like having a car and never giving it an oil change. You're not going to have that car last 10, 15, 25 years. Okay? It's the same analogy. If you're made of water and your whole body's made of cells and your cells carry the most water, you gotta replenish it by sweating it out and putting clean water in. It's elementary. Thank you.